Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tradition Kitchens. Hi, Barbara. Great to see you. It's so nice. I see Janet. Oh, and Marcy. We have so many wonderful people returning. Elaine. We even have some Berenstein Bears coming. I see a picture of them on the Zoom photos. So welcome. I'm Julia from Tradition Kitchens. Happy Valentine's Day, or as I've been saying, happy Muffin-tines Day. We'll talk a little bit about Muffin Day in a little bit, but great to see Corrine and Emily. Margaret, hello again. We welcome you to be on video. It really helps us create a community virtually for our classes. We know everybody's in a different place. We have people from around the world and we want to know where you're calling in from. So if you could in the chat, please tell us where you are based. I'm talking to you from my virtual kitchen that I redecorate every time we have a Tradition Kitchens class, thanks to the power of Zoom. So we've got Robin from Berkeley. Hey, Midori from Japan. Great to see you. Atlanta, Chicago, DC, Alexandria, Virginia, so many places, Texas, keep it up. We love getting to meet one another before we officially kick off. We're actually expecting over 200 people on today's call, which will be so much fun with Julianne, an incredible pastry student who's going to teach us her tips and tricks on this Valentine's Day. But before we officially get started, as you all come on video and introduce yourself, I want to do something we call the kitchen cam, where we spotlight different people who are going to be cooking along, or if you're just joining us for the fun, we welcome you as well. So Emily, and your +1, you look ready to say hello. I'm gonna add you to the spotlight and please unmute, tell us where you're calling in from and how you found us.
Hi everyone, I'm Emily.
I'm Caitlin.
And we're from San Francisco and good friends with Julianne, so super excited to be here. Happy Valentine's, everyone.
Yay, happy Valentine's. I love it. I have a little knack for finding the friends and family of the teachers. So that's awesome. So glad to have you. Let's see, I'm scanning our Zoom. I have you all in gallery mode, which is like Brady Bunch style, where I can see people. And Bracha, would you unmute on the bottom left? I'm going to invite you into the spotlight and would love to hear where you're joining us from.
I'm joining you from Scottsdale, Arizona. And I didn't find you. You somehow found me.
Well, lucky us. So glad we found each other. Thanks for being here.
I've been watching most of the shows whenever I can. I'll have to leave a little early today, but I'll figure out how to finish.
Well, so happy to have you back. Thanks.
Happy Valentine's, everybody.
Happy Valentine's. I love it. Thank you. So just checking out the Zoom chat to see where other people are calling in from. Got Vermont, Massachusetts. Robin, I'm going to hop over to Robin Reed to say hello and add you to the spotlight. Would you mind introducing yourself and please unmute in the bottom left?
Hi everyone, I'm Robin. I'm Julianne's cousin and I'm super excited to be here. We're in Berkeley.
I'm Brock, I'm Robin's partner, and yeah, we're here to support Julianne, so we're excited.
Super excited. This is the best way we could possibly be spending our Valentine's Day, so we're happy to be here.
Awesome. Welcome. Thanks for being here. Again, I got lucky. I should start playing the lottery.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, we have so many great people calling in from all over. We have Canada. We have 62 folks on the line. We're going to give everyone a couple of minutes before we officially get started. Always love to give a shout out to a few people who have taught with us in the past who are on the line. So we're making a dessert tonight. So I want to give a quick shout out to Elaine Marlin. I'm going to add you to the spotlight. Would you tell everyone the amazing dish that you taught us a couple months ago, a year ago? Can't remember now.
I don't remember, but I made my famous key lime pie. And there was a big crowd and I enjoyed it very much. I really enjoyed teaching it.
It was so much fun. And we're going to pop in the chat if you want to make key lime pie, Elaine's amazing recipe, and you can watch the recording. So thanks for being here. Happy to
I'm not
have you
cooking, but I have
again.
I have a rice questions later.
Okay, sounds perfect. Sounds good. Glad you are here. I'm looking to see if there are any other former teachers on the line. There's someone who I've been trying to get to teach for a very long time. I think she might know who she is. But Janet, your kitchen just looks absolutely amazing. Could I have you introduce yourself, because you're a Tradition Kitchens regular with a Valentine's Day sweater. It's amazing.
Always
Don't forget to unmute.
always on theme, and so happy to be here. And I'm so excited for today's class for a fellow alumni from my school. Yay. Super excited here to provide support and cheer, and just think that she's brave and amazing. So I just can't wait to enjoy this class, and nice to see everyone. And I'm so happy that she has so many other friends here to support. So yay.
I love it. What a great pep talk. I feel like that is the perfect segue for us to get started. So thank you, Janet. That was amazing. I see some hearts popping up on our emoji world. So if you are new to Zoom or you haven't used it in a while, there are some really fun reactions you can do, a party, laughing, crying, etc. So feel free to use those under reactions. Thanks everyone for being on mute so that we can really focus on our teaching. Just a quick word about Tradition Kitchens. I'm Julia. My mom and I started this 2.5 years ago. This is class like 88 or 89. I'm losing track, but I just wrote an article about what it's meant to me to be able to organize all these amazing classes with teachers from around the world and students. We're all volunteer led, and about building community and connecting with people as if we are hanging out in each other's kitchens. We started in person in Atlanta and then pivoted to be online, and that's where we have been staying ever since. And the beauty of that has been that we connect with people from around the world. So we're so happy to have many of you and encourage you to ask questions, be on video, interact with one another, and have a fun evening if you're in the evening time zone, but we often have people joining us from Australia, and so they're in morning time. So whether it's evening, afternoon, morning, or wherever you are, we're glad to have you. We love to kick off with something we call a selfie. It is a Zoom selfie. So that means we take a photo, everyone smiles, and we capture this moment together, and then we share it on our social media. So we want to invite you to flip on your video. I'll call out a few names. So hopefully you'll join us for the picture, and then maybe you'll even stay on camera. It would be great to see you. Great to see you, Deborah. Let's see. How about Emily, Sandy, Sandra, Karen, Ellen, Jody, Jackie, Fran? Come on, join us on video. All right, I think we have the best amount of people that we're gonna get on video, which is pretty solid. So I'm gonna ask everyone to look at your cameras. And Marcy, I'm just seeing you. I'm sorry I didn't see you sooner, but I'm so happy you're here. I'm gonna count us down. Kate, you're currently a beautiful red box, and Fong, you're lots of cupcakes. So if you want to turn on your video, but we do see that. Oh my gosh, and Dory, we're gonna have to say hello to you and your +1 in a moment. So 3, 2, 1. Yay, and one more in case anyone closed their eyes. Oh, good, we got a few more people on video. So 3, 2, 1. Amazing. And before we officially kick off, I want to welcome our youngest member of class here with Dory. Would you like to just quickly say hello and introduce yourselves? Feel free to unmute if so.
Hi, I'm just here with my granddaughter, Belle. So we're not going to be able to cook tonight because she's in the mood to play and not sit in the kitchen. So we're watching.
That is so welcome. Well, Belle, you look great in your Valentine's outfit. I love it. Hi. Welcome. Great to have you and so many others here. So now I'm going to turn it over to our teacher extraordinaire, Julianne, who we met through the power of social media. And I'm so happy to have you teaching with us and sharing your time and your talents. You've been learning in culinary or pastry school, and we can't wait to hear about this favorite recipe of yours and learn your story. So during class, everyone, I'll be moderating questions. Feel free to put them in the chat. Just a quick note, a reminder of treating each other with respect and kindness as part of our community. If I don't get to a question, it's not that I'm ignoring you. We just want to move along and make sure we have time for everyone to be learning together. I do want to apologize about a slight miscommunication in terms of not sharing the specifics on the dish and also the type of milk, but we'll learn from Julianne today about how to maybe do a substitute if you don't have everything with it. But I'm going to turn it over to her, and thank you so much for teaching with us.
Hi guys, thank you so much for being here, and thank you Julia again for having me. This is a really amazing opportunity. Very excited, a little nervous. I've never done something like this before, but I'm excited. So today we're going to be making arroz con leche, and it's a rice pudding dish that I learned how to make in a town called San Miguel de Allende, which is in Mexico. I don't know if any of you have been there. It's a wonderful place. So the recipe is by a chef named Ricardo Munoz Zurita. And yeah, it's a wonderful recipe. It's pretty easy. And we're going to brulee the top of the rice pudding. There's two different ways you can brulee the rice pudding. You can use a blowtorch if you have that, or you can use the broiler, and we'll get to that later down the road. But if you have a broiler, you can do that, or you can eat it on its own. It's delicious on its own as well. So yeah, let's get started. I'm just going to go over the ingredients, and if anybody has any questions on ingredients, feel free to ask. But so I have the rice here. It's a long grain rice, typically used for rice pudding in my experience. Other rice will work, but this long grain I think gives the texture that most rice puddings yield. And then we have sugar. That is a half a cup of sugar, and it's 3/4 cup of rice as well. It was in the list of ingredients. And then we have some milk. I prefer whole milk just because it gives more of a rich, creamy result. But if you have like non-fat or low fat, that's okay too. It just won't be as creamy. I do have a friend in the audience, I think she's going to be using coconut milk, which I haven't used, but I think that will work fine. It's has a lot of fat, and I think it'll be really delicious. And then in terms of like aromatics and spices, I have vanilla here, orange, we're going to add some orange peel, cinnamon. I love cinnamon, so cinnamon sticks are great. If you don't have cinnamon stick, we can fold in some just ground cinnamon at the end as well. And then we have some salt. I made this as a kid, actually. It's our salt container. And then also I have a pot here with the water that's going to be in the recipe as well, and that's 1 cup of water. So yeah, those are all the main ingredients. If anyone has any questions, let's see, how about evaporated milk as a sub? I haven't used evaporated milk. I believe it's a bit thick. I don't know if anyone else in the audience has used that for rice pudding. Feel free to jump in. But you may be able to add that since there is water in the recipe that will thin it out a bit. So it may work. I'm not completely positive though, sorry. So the milk, it's 1 liter of milk, which is 4 cups and a generous splash. So 4 plus a generous splash, or if you have a scale, it's 34 ounces of milk. Any other questions before we get started?
Sure. We're good.
Okay, so I'm gonna rinse my rice really quickly. Just gonna rinse that. you have a strainer to rinse it, that's good. If you don't have a strainer, it's not the end of the world if you can't rinse it. And then I'm gonna add my rice to the pot with the water that I have. 1 cup of water. Okay. I'm going too fast. Anyone, please let me know. Then I'm gonna add the milk. So that's 4 cups of milk plus a generous splash. So, so 1.
Thank you to Renee, who recommended using evaporated milk and gave us some conversions, which is awesome. Appreciate you.
Thank you. 4. Oh, this is going to be perfect, actually. Nice. Okay. So 4 and a generous splash. So I just added that. And now I'm going to add my orange peel. So I'm going to put 2 pieces of orange peel in the pot about this big. It's about, I don't know, 3 inches long, maybe 2.5. So you can use your knife to basically cut the peel away from the flesh of the fruit. Or if you're not comfortable with that, which is totally fine, you can just peel the peel off the orange like you would if you were to peel an orange. But I'm just gonna take my knife and just go around the edge of the orange to get another slice. So like that. Just add it in there. The cinnamon stick. Some about 2.5 inches to maybe 3 inches. I'm just going to, does it matter? All right, I'm just seeing your question. Does it matter if you use a liquid measuring cup or do we use the dry measuring cup? You can use either one. That should be fine.
And have you turned on any heat? I don't think you have.
No, I haven't. I haven't yet. I'm just getting everything in the pot.
Oh, I love it. And I know this question, I'm reading some people's minds, is going to come up, but can people use like powdered cinnamon if they don't want to use a cinnamon stick, if that seems intimidating, or do you prefer that?
Yeah, totally. I love cinnamon stick. I think when it infuses into the milk water mixture, it gives such a great flavor. But if you don't have cinnamon sticks, it's totally fine. They are expensive also, I know. So cinnamon, ground cinnamon works as well. And I have that here. And you can add maybe about a teaspoon or to your taste at the end and basically fold it in once the rice pudding is cooked. But in my case, I'm going to use the cinnamon stick. Again, you can use the ground cinnamon as well. So I'm just gonna, with the cinnamon stick, I'm gonna just crush it a bit. It'll release the essential oils in the cinnamon and just really give a lot of great flavor. So I'm just gonna stick that in the pot as well. Give me 1 second, I'm sorry.
I'm going to check in on everybody, take a look and see how it's going for those who are cooking along. Pamela, how are you doing? Marcy, I'm going to add a few folks to the spotlight. Are you good?
All good. I cut the recipe in half and hope it'll be okay, except I put in the full cinnamon stick and a nice chunk of the orange rind.
Okay, I think that should be good. Yeah.
Okay.
Very fun. I apologize.
Okay.
Getting into something, that's why I had to
No.
step away for a second. But yeah, so if everyone has everything in the pot, we can move over to the stove top. I'm just gonna bring you with me. I have my phone here. So, right. Don't mind my double chin here. So I'm gonna get this going on like medium high heat. Just give it a quick little stir.
The sugar and raisins are not in yet, or the vanilla?
The sugar raisins are not in yet. I have so we'll add the sugar once the milk evaporates a bit more and it comes to a boil. Okay. So let me bring my ingredients over 1 second.
And the rice is in there already, yeah?
Correct, yeah. So what we have right now is the rice, water, milk, cinnamon stick, orange, and also we're gonna just add a bit of salt, just a pinch or 1/8 of a teaspoon. And just give it a quick stir.
And the amount of milk that was added, I think it was 1 liter. So forgive me, I'm not good at measuring transform. So is that 4 cups? I'm going to type it into Google and figure it out. Marcy gave me the 4 fingers. So yes. Okay. Thank you.
Sorry guys, my dog was getting into some stuff. Go put her away.
That's okay. We welcome sous chefs. We've had cats before and dogs, so all good.
There's sugar in the pot too. The sugar's in the pot, right?
It's not in the pot.
Okay, not in the pot. We're fine. Oh, craps.
So what's in the pot is the milk, cinnamon, orange, salt, and water. So that's going to be brought up to a boil, and so you put it onto medium high heat. And once it gets to a boil, then we will reduce the heat to a simmer and add the sugar. That's what that. So yeah, this is gonna take a little bit. So we have a little bit of time if anyone has any questions or comments about anything.
Let's see. Peg is wondering how high is the heat?
Yeah, I have it on like in between on my stovetop. It's in between medium and high, so medium high heat.
Okay, and let's see, I'm just backing up. Did we answer the salt question? No salt is in there yet.
There's a pinch of salt. I added a pinch of salt.
A pinch of salt from your homemade salt maker. That was right. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Let's just quickly back up to Elaine's question. In terms of types of rices, do you recommend jasmine, brown, another rice?
Mm-hmm. I'll pull out the rice that I have. So I just got this organic white long grain rice from Whole Foods. Really, from what I learned in this cooking class, it's long grain rice. Long grain rice that's typically used for rice pudding. And I think it's because I think jasmine is a bit thin and brittle, break, and so just will be a bit more mushy. But that's not to say that it won't taste good. It's just different. So if you have another type of rice, I wouldn't sweat it too much. I think I saw another question about the ramekins being oiled or buttered, which they don't need to be, just so you know.
And what about salt? Any preferences there?
Oh yeah, I always use Diamond Crystal kosher salt. I think that that's the best salt for cooking. I like using like Morton table salt just because it's really salty. Like I think it's a lot easier to over salt your food when you use Morton salt. So I prefer the Diamond Crystal kosher salt for sure.
Yeah. Cool. Well, let's see if folks have more questions. Please let us know. Looks like Dave is cooking along and making great progress. And I'm just taking a look at people on gallery view. So I would love to hear a little bit about what this recipe means to you. You had mentioned that it was meaningful to your family through travels. Could you tell us a bit more about that connection?
Yeah, sure. And I just am giving this just a bit of a stir every now and then in case the rice sticks to the bottom. But yeah, so this rice pudding, like I said, I learned how to make it in this town in Mexico. It's called San Miguel de Allende, and it's a town that my mom is from Mexico, and she and my dad discovered this town like 20 years ago, and they just fell in love with it. And so growing up, we would go there for Christmas every year almost. And we took this class, and this rice pudding was one of the things that we learned in this cooking class. And I haven't made this in a long time. So the last time I made it, I think we used to make it like after the cooking class kind of frequently, and then we kind of stopped making it, but it just has these flavors that I'm right back there in San Miguel and growing up eating this when I do eat it. So when I made this last week for the first time, it just brought me right back there. So it's just special because it reminds me of that place.
I love it. I love it. It looks like some folks have heard of this community as well. It sounds like it's a place where artists live as well. If you know more about that, Peg mentioned it to us.
There's a great big art culture and great architecture, and it's very beautiful.
Wow. Linda has a question. Is this a dessert or is it breakfast? She remembers eating something like this when she was a kid.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking it was a dessert, but now that I think about it, when I practiced making this last week, I did eat it for breakfast, so I think it's great for breakfast.
I'm a big fan of breakfast, any dessert anytime for breakfast, lunch, dinner, or snack. So
yeah, kind of like an elevated oatmeal or just like a different type of oatmeal alternative.
Yeah, definitely. Well, feel free, folks, to keep the questions coming. Maria wants to know, how long do you have this for this milk to boil? How long do you have to have this boil with the milk?
So right now, this is about to hit, on my end, it's about to hit a simmer. And again, I'm just stirring this every now and then, just so the rice doesn't stick, but it takes maybe about like 10 minutes. Just check your heat. If it's too low, you can turn it up a little bit. I wouldn't go on full blast. But this is, mine is almost there. So not too long.
Great. And once we get to the final dish, do you like to serve it cold or warm?
So that's a really good question. I know like typically when people make creme brulee, you're supposed to chill it before bruleeing it, and it's supposed to be more cold in some cases. But for this, I prefer it to be a bit warm. I just like it just feels very comforting when it's warm. But if you like it chilled, then that's 100% okay as well.
Cool. We have a great comment from Dave complimenting how accessible the ingredients are and very authentic, which is appreciated. Robin wants to know, how many servings does this make? Because she has doubled it. LOL, she'll have some extras.
Rob, you'll definitely have a lot of extra, but it's delicious. So, and I know you guys can eat it. But yeah, so half a recipe, which is what we're making here, it makes about 5 servings, 6 servings. Okay, it looks like Corinne's at a boil and I'm actually at a boil as well. So now I'm just going to bring down the heat to low, in between low and medium on my stovetop. I'll show you what it looks like. Let's see. So this is what it's looking like for me. I just turned it down to low. And now I'm going to add the sugar. Add that in and give it a stir.
Could you remind us how much sugar and the type of sugar?
Sure, yes. It's white sugar, white cane sugar, half a cup of sugar. So I'm just giving that a stir. And now at this point, we will basically let the water and milk mixture evaporate until the becomes thickened and more pudding-like. So that's a period of chatting. It'll take a little bit, but you do want to make sure that you stir it every now and then just to prevent sticking at the bottom, but do it gently just because you don't want to break up the rice too much. You want it to kind of keep its integrity, the rice particle sizes. So just keep that in mind. And I saw a question come up about brown sugar. I've never used that in this recipe, but I think it would be great. I think it would add a nice like caramelly molasses type flavor, a nice complexity. I think that would be nice. And in the meantime, I can go over also the torch options, or the brulee options, I should say. So I have two options, like I said, and mine, I'm just turning mine down a little bit more because it's getting back to a boil. Okay. So I have this blowtorch. I got this on Amazon. So if you have one of these, this it's my preferred option, but you can definitely use your broiler in your oven if you have that function on your oven. In the case of the broiler, I will take you over to show you how I have it set up. But if you're using the broiler, you want to make sure that you have a rack here set up so it's to the closest point to the broiler, which is this guy right here. So definitely be careful when you do this, obviously, but you put your ramekins or oven-proof vessels that you're using on a sheet tray, or if you want to put them on their own right here, which just again, be careful, and then rotate either the tray or use tongs to rotate the ramekin so it gets an even caramelization. So that's that option. Excuse me, sound. If you don't have a torch, but also again, if you don't have either of those things, or if you prefer to just have the rice pudding on its own, then I think that that's a great option as well. And there's also, I didn't mention it, I'm sorry, because I'm not adding it, but raisins are an option too if you're a fan of raisins. I'm not a fan of raisins, but if you are, you should definitely add them.
When do you add them?
So you'll add the raisins after the milk water mixture evaporates and the product is thickened.
So not yet.
So not yet.
Thank you. And what about the vanilla?
The vanilla will go at the end as well when you would add the raisins, if you're adding the raisins.
Thank you.
Looks like we had a quick clarification about it's 3/4 of a cup of long grain rice. Okay.
That's
yes. As you are stirring, let's see. Someone is asking about vanilla paste. I'm not familiar with vanilla paste. What is that and can it be used?
Yeah, I think that would be great. Vanilla paste, I'm not sure exactly how they make it, but it has the vanilla seeds in there. And so it also gives a nice little effect of those little speckles. And it has a lot more flavor as well than vanilla extract. And so I think that would be a great option. I think I also saw somebody ask about a vanilla bean. Maybe I saw that question, I'm pretty sure. But that would also be a great option. And if you were to do that, you would just split the bean down the middle and use the back of a paring knife to kind of scrape out the seeds. And I would add that at this point, like when you're boiling the milk with the cinnamon and orange. And you can throw both the seeds and the whole pot in there to maximize flavor. I think that would be really, really good. So I'm just giving this a stir every now and then, again, to just prevent sticking from at the bottom. The pot is not covered, no, because you want to allow all the water content that's in the pot to evaporate. So yeah, you want it definitely uncovered. So the vanilla will be added once we get this mixture to a more evaporated, thickened state. And it's a tablespoon of vanilla.
So Julianne, as we're simmering here on the stove, we'd love to learn more about your journey in pastry school. Could you talk a bit about what inspired you to pursue this dream? And I know you're probably going to have to go back to the recipe, so we might return to your story, but just want to get that part of the conversation started.
Yeah, that's a good question. For anyone who knows me, they know that food and baking is something that I'm really passionate about, and I've been passionate about for a really long time, since I was a kid. And my mom is a great cook, and she really inspired me to just inspire this passion, as well as the Food Network. I grew up watching that pretty religiously after school. I would watch all those chefs and just be mesmerized by everything about what they were doing, and going to the grocery store was always so fun for me. So it's just always something that I had a strong passion for. And for college, I actually wanted to go straight to culinary school from high school. But my parents convinced me, get your college education and then decide if you want to do that, which I am very grateful for that. I decided to study food science, and that gave me a really good foundation, I think, for now being in pastry school, because I learned a lot of the science aspects of food that are just so interesting and help me to be a better cook and aspiring chef. So after college, I worked for a bit, and it was always in the back of my mind, just this voice like, go to culinary school. Like it just was always there. And so during the pandemic, I was in a job and I wasn't very happy. And so I just came back to this thought of going to pastry school specifically, because in the recent years I was really into baking more so. And so I think the pandemic for a lot of us caused us to rethink like what we want in life. And so I just decided to do it. I went for it, basically.
That's amazing. We love that you are pursuing your passion and your dreams. Elaine wants to know, where do you see yourself in the future, and what are you doing now as you're perfecting your skill set?
That's a good question. Going into this program, I thought I knew, and then I feel like I opened the floodgates of like all of these opportunities that are within this industry. Like you don't have to work in a restaurant. Like there's so many other things you can do. And so I had an idea going into it, and now I'm kind of like, oh, I'm into this and this and this. So I'm still figuring it out, honestly, but my original intention is still there, open my own cafe or bakery, like a little small, like rustic style bakery. So maybe one day we'll see. But currently I finished classes at San Francisco Cooking School, and I'm now in my externship. And that is basically you are put into the wild, so to speak, and hone your skills that you learned in pastry school. You're on the savory cooking side. You work on the savory side in a restaurant, but I'm at State Bird Provisions, which is a restaurant in San Francisco. It's on Phil Street, and it's been really, really amazing so far. Like, I've learned so much. They have a Michelin star, so it's pretty, like, they run a tight ship and they really have their stuff together. Like, it's really incredible to see and be a part of. So has anyone, I'm curious if anyone has been there or heard of it.
Let's see, we do have people from around the world, so some folks might not know of it, but it looks like I see a few hands and heads nodding that yes, they are familiar with it. And if we ever get out to the Bay Area, we'll come visit. Emily, I'm not sure if you had a question or you had a comment, or you were just saying that you've heard of all of these great places.
We were just saying that we've been to State Bird. Yeah, it was good. Didn't get to try the desserts, but next time.
Must return for sure. What is the restaurant's name again? State Bird Provisions, right?
State Bird Provisions. And it's really interesting. The owners, it's a chef owner, husband-wife duo. They have two other restaurants, and one of them is called The Progress, and it's like a symbiotic restaurant with State Bird. So it's connected, and people are constantly going back and forth, and the teams all work together. It's really, really cool. And then they have another restaurant around the corner called Anchovy Bar. And I haven't actually eaten at any of the restaurants yet, and I am for the first time on Friday. I'm really excited. So excited for that. But it's a very, very cool restaurant or set of restaurants that they have. Like the Walrus, the Walrus and the Carpenter. I see that full comment.
I love it. Everyone has a lot of favorite places and culinary and confectionery connections. So anyone else have questions for Julianne about her story, about this dish? Let's see. I'm gonna probably add a few people to Spotlight in a minute, but we have a request to see what your pot looks like, and maybe people can compare how theirs is going with yours.
Definitely. So mine is like kind of I'm on low, but it's boiling a little bit, and that's okay. I'm just stirring it every now and then. So this is what mine looks like. We will know when, so see, there's still quite a bit of liquid here left. This will evaporate and it will become thick and more pudding-like. So I'm not quite yet.
And how much sugar for the brulee portion when we get to that?
Yeah, it's about, it depends on your preference of how much, but I would say like 2 to 3 teaspoons, maybe. It depends on how thick you want that layer of crisped sugar. If you just want a little bit, then you can just sprinkle maybe a teaspoon on. But you do want to, if you do want like a nice layer. So around 3 teaspoons, I would say. That's a rough estimate, but I basically just sprinkle the sugar on top of the rice pudding until you can't see the rice granules anymore.
Could you use turbinado sugar?
Oh, to brulee it? I think that would work. I haven't tried that. That's interesting. Would definitely give that a go.
And someone's asking, how do we know when it's done? And as you answer that, I'm just going to step away to answer a few people. So I'm going to be off video for a moment. So keep going with the conversation.
Okay. So I think what you mean is when the rice pudding is done on the stove top. Correct me if I'm wrong, but so right now it's not quite ready, and you can see because there's still quite a bit of liquid. So we want most of the liquid to evaporate, and at that point it will become thick and more pudding-like. We don't want it completely dried out because we do want some moisture in there, but you'll be able to tell once it's closer to being ready when a lot of this liquid is evaporated, because as you can see, as I'm putting my spoon in, you can still see quite a bit that's just resting at the top here. So I hope that answered your question. Please let me know if not.
How long could I keep? I am going to fill a whole bunch of small ramekins. How long could they stay in the refrigerator?
I would say maybe 2 to 3 days.
You can't freeze it?
Oh, if you want, I have never tried that, but I think that would work. Yeah. Do this in a crock pot or Instapot. I'm not sure. I don't have a crock pot or an Instapot, so I don't use those too frequently, but I from what I know about them, I think that would work, and it would be a quicker process. Have we added sugar or vanilla yet? Yes. So we added the sugar, not vanilla, but we have added the sugar once a little while back when the milk came to a boil. That was when we added the sugar. The vanilla we will add once the liquid is more evaporated.
I am back, just trying to troubleshoot on the back end for some questions. So thanks for keeping it going.
Yeah.
This is always the part where we're all like, oh, we wish someone would invent smell-o-vision. We could be and know what it is like for those who are cooking or baking along. But Jennifer says it smells really good. So I'm going to add a few folks to the spotlight so you can kind of show Julianne how it's going, share with us. So Jennifer, Marcy, raise your hand if you want to be added. Sorry for the folks who are watching this on video recording. You don't have this same experience, which is a bummer, but we still want to give people who are here this opportunity. So show us the inside of your pot. Let us know how it is going and any questions you might have. So Robin, Marcy, Jennifer, Emily, and Corrine are all up on chat.
So mine is boiling. It's simmering. This is, I don't know if you can see, my pot is here. Finger going around. And I'm just waiting for it to get to the consistency before I add the raisins and vanilla.
Yay, looks great. And just a reminder to stir every now and then so it doesn't stick at the bottom, but I'm sure.
Jennifer, it looks like Jennifer and Emily might have matching pots of beautiful blue colors.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
nice.
Nice.
Yeah,
ours
ours
look looking kind of thick. It's
I
thickening
used,
up.
I used blood orange peel, so I used extra in it, and it just, the smell is so cool.
Oh, I'm so glad. Yeah, it really does smell.
Ours is smelling really cinnamony.
Did you
Now-
use like Emma?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
No, you ask first, then I'll ask my follow-up. Go for it.
I was just curious if Emily used a cinnamon stick or.
Yeah, we used a cinnamon stick, and I've been trying to crush it up to release some of the aroma. Thank you.
I love it. Now, my question is about, I know when we went back and forth on the recipe, you mentioned you could use lemon, but you prefer orange. Like, why is that? And how does lemon change the flavor?
Lemon was what in the both, and I felt like lemon, it had more of a, how do I describe this? I felt like it had more like that warm, it complemented the cinnamon better, in my opinion, versus the lemon. I felt like the lemon, it was still good. It just clashed a little bit, in my opinion, but it was still good. And people loved the lemon too. It just orange was my preference.
I'd like to try this sometime and use star anise and just experiment with some of the things that go into it.
That would be really yummy.
Yeah.
Out there, you guys get great figs, so serving it with figs would be incredible.
Yeah, some nice fresh fruit on top, I think would be good.
Great suggestions. I love all the different flavors that we can add and experiment. That's part of the fun of baking and cooking in my world. So great creativity. Anyone else have something that you'd like to perhaps try? Dave, what is a hint of anise? Tell us more. I'm going to add you to the spotlight crew so you can share this with us. Would you unmute if you don't mind? Oh, he's getting really creative. Now he's throwing out pineapple at us. I'm liking this. Nuz is suggesting cardamom. I think you went off video, not on audio. So hopefully you'll join us soon. Oh, Corrine, dates instead of raisins. Also super creative. Love it. Keep all the suggestions and comments coming, folks. How does the pastry chef think about these ideas? Yeah?
Yes. Yes.
Could you taste now and see if you need more sugar added?
Yeah, if you want to taste it and see if it's not sweet enough, by all means, add some more sugar if it's not to your liking.
I figured out how to unmute. You had asked me to share earlier. So I thought of pineapple because this reminds me a little bit of bread pudding, and I've had pineapples in bread pudding. Just a hint. And ananas is another word for pineapple. So when you were asking for ideas, I thought, oh, kind of a pineapple reminds me of that citrusy kind of family. So just a thought. But you've inspired me so much. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for saying that. That's so nice.
Wow. Awesome. So such creative, amazing suggestions. And Janet, who's also a pastry chef, suggests dried cranberries for Valentine's colors. People are really getting creative. Susie is mentioning, and Susie, do you want to unmute and tell us about this Greek dish that you know of? I want to make sure I say it correctly. Risogolo?
Almost, yes. It's risogolo. So it's almost like with the Z. And there's no zests used. It's only just the sugar, vanilla, milk, and rice. And then it's cooked in the same way. And then at the end, in the ramekins, ground cinnamon is sprinkled on top, and it can be had warm or cold. So it's a delicious breakfast dessert too. But yeah, it's usually a winter dish.
That sounds amazing.
Oh, it's yummy.
Yeah. Wow. And what exactly is a ramekin? When you first sent that to me, I really had to research it. But can you tell us more and show us as well? Oh, Corinne's giving us a little demo. I love it.
Nice. Yeah, it's basically, I'm not sure what it's made out of, but like ceramic or porcelain. I'm not sure. Not porcelain. I don't know. But it is oven safe, an oven safe vessel. And it's typically for creme brulee.
It's made out of porcelain, at least mine are.
Oh, okay. Said that, and I was like, not right, but oh, okay, I guess it is. How is everyone? Is it thickening up a bit, I hope?
Very much thickening up. I also decided to throw 1 star anise in it, and it, wow. It's really neat. Just one, this later stage doesn't get too overpowering.
Sounds amazing. Does anyone have any questions about the torching or bruleeing process? Just want to make sure we'll get there eventually, but if anyone has any questions.
Oh, not yet on that topic, but Dave is wondering about, is there anything you could pair this with, like a main dish to eat before?
Cool. Like a savory dish, I guess. That's a good question. I'm trying to remember what we had in the cooking class before this. I think it was a type of enchilada that we made. Oh, I think it was enchiladas and chili rellenos, if I remember correctly. But if you want to stay on the Mexican type of cuisine theme, I think enchiladas or chili rellenos would be really delicious.
I just tasted it and it's absolutely delicious.
Yay! Oh,
You don't need to add any more sugar to it.
Oh, great. Okay.
I love it. So when's the magic moment when we know when it's done?
So I'm at right now. It still has some liquid. It's really close. But I will show you actually. So see this consistency here? It should all kind of more or less look like this. What I have in the spoon.
That's where I'm at.
Oh, that's where you're at.
Yeah, I think I do.
Oh, okay. So if there's not like a bunch of liquid at the top, then and it's pretty thick, then I would turn off your stove top
and let it cool for a little bit, maybe until just I closer to that point. But yeah, take it off the stove top and let it cool. You could also start putting the rice pudding in your ramekins, getting it ready for torching. And in terms of how much you fill it, I mean, I'll fill it to this lip here, this like line right here.
Do I add the raisins and vanilla now then?
I'm sorry, yeah. So if you are done, then yes, you would add the vanilla and the raisins if you would like to add that.
Oh, take out the orange peel and the cinnamon stick?
Yes, and remove the orange peel and the cinnamon stick, correct.
Question. Well, first a comment. I think this class might win for best comments. We're going to have to definitely put these up on Instagram. Dave says the orange oil infused is magical. Such a great description. Anne, who's getting ahead to the brulee part, is wondering about what kind of torch do you recommend? Do you have a brand?
Yeah, well, I just got this for Christmas. It's from Amazon. It's it's 10 chef, I think. I've used this and it works pretty well. So I would recommend that one. I'm not sure of a specific brand. In the kitchens, they use like a professional grade one that's super big. It's really intense, but I think if you just search reviews, just make sure that it looks like a good one from the reviews. That's what I recommend. I'm almost there. One here in culinary school or has attended culinary school or thinking about it? Oh, about the tablespoon. It is, yeah. If you think it's too much, you feel free to add less. It's because it's a quite big volume of rice pudding.
Have you ever used almond extract instead of vanilla?
I haven't, no. I think that would be really lovely.
I've been experimenting lately with that just because it's vanilla is quite expensive. It's really gone up even more. You have to use a little bit less as well because it's pretty potent. It's like half of what you would use. So I'll have to try it when I make it. Kathy, I think you might be going for that, or you're going for the vanilla. Can't quite tell.
I would also try rose water.
Ooh, nice.
That's quite expensive, but you use so very little.
Yeah, it's very strong. Yeah, that does sound really good. It reminds me of this for those who are in the Bay Area. I don't know if they're outside. I think they're outside of the Bay Area, but Equator Coffee, they make a coffee drink with cinnamon and rose water, I believe, and it's really, really good.
What's something really meaningful that you've taken away from your pastry school experience? Is it a moment that's really resonated with you that you could share?
Yeah, there's a few things. I've thought a lot about this. I think the main things are that if you're thinking about going to culinary school or pastry school, for me, like, even though I knew it was something I really, really wanted to do, and I still know that, I romanticized it a little bit and didn't realize. I knew it was hard work, but I didn't realize until actually getting to it how hard of a job it is. People think, you know, when I say, oh, I'm in pastry school, they get all excited, and it's really exciting. But it's really hard work. It's physically demanding, and it's hard. So that's been a big take home message for me, just like being aware of that. But for me, I've had doubts throughout this process, but so far I'm still sticking through it, and I'm loving it overall. And so if you have that passion and you wake up and you are still loving it, like that tells me that I'm doing the right thing. So there's that. And then another big thing is mise en place, if anyone has heard of that. It's basically, it's a French phrase meaning everything in its place. And it's very important in the culinary world to basically have all of your ingredients and everything set up and ready to go for making whatever it is you're making, because you want to be very efficient. So I haven't always really been the most organized person. I'm not super type A, so this has been an experience for me to really get myself organized and my thoughts and how I do things to be more efficient. So yeah, that was a big learning lesson as well, and takeaway.
Any other questions for our teacher about her story and this dish? This is really, really fascinating. Thanks for teaching us some important words too that chefs use. Tell us about, if you could, what other pastries do you enjoy baking? Great question from Elaine.
Oh, that's a really good question. I am almost done, but one thing I really like making that I learned that I was intimidated to make prior to this and prior to my experience in cooking school was.
Well, I don't need to be here anymore, but I just have to get my milk. I have to cook this just a little bit more till my milk.
I don't know if you had a question, but I just muted you because we want to make sure that only questions for the teacher at this point. So feel free to unmute if you do have a question, but continue, Julianne.
Okay, happy to answer any question. But basically, the pastry question. So I was always really intimidated by laminated pastries, which are basically croissants or like any flaky type of pastry. So like Queen Amands, croissants, Danish, all those types of things. And when we got to that point in school, I was really nervous about it, but learned that it's really not as complicated as you think. And I really loved making Queen Amands, which are basically, actually have some in the freezer. Thing. My dad didn't eat them all, but there's one left. But Queen Amand is basically this pastry I learned how to make, and it's buttery, sugary, delicious pastry. There's a place in San Francisco called Bee Patisserie that is famous for making those, and you can fill the center with different fillings, and they're delicious and they're really fun to make. So I've gotten to the point at which my pudding is ready, so I'll show you. This is where I'm at. So the liquid, there's no like layer of liquid at the top, but it's pudding like. Oh, hi Phil. So I'm gonna now start, I turned off the heat and I'm gonna start filling my ramekins. I know actually that my instructor, I don't know, I saw some people say that they would love to learn how to make them, but if you are in the Bay Area, and I know that a lot of people aren't, but if you are, there is a class that my instructor is teaching up in Petaluma. I could maybe find the link and share it with anyone who's interested. There's also an online class that our school offers, a lamination class, so you would learn how to make them at San Francisco Cooking School if you're interested, but I'm sure there's a lot of other options as well. So I just filled my ramekin with the rice pudding. So that's what that looks like. I'm just gonna let it cool off just a little bit because I don't want too much of the sugar to melt before bruleeing it. I just realized I didn't add the vanilla, so I'm sorry about that. But if you have not started filling and you didn't add the vanilla, I would add the vanilla now. And if you want to add the raisins, you can add the raisins at this point too. So I'm just stirring in the vanilla to the pot.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes.
If you remove the pith from the orange peel and it was cooking in the thing with the sugar and everything, could you slice it very thinly and add a little bit for garnishment or flavor?
Yeah, I think that would be good if you slice it thin enough. I think that would be yummy.
Just test it.
Yeah, definitely. Great. We have a spontaneous chef on the line. And also that link that you mentioned, I can include it in the follow-up email so we can, I'm trying to find it on the back end, and Janet offered some great comments, but not finding it. So a question I just saw from Barbara, do you soak the raisins first before you put them in?
That's not something that we did at the class, but if you do want to soak them, I probably wouldn't, just because there is so much moisture already in the pudding. But if you do want them like more plump and just have more like water content, then I think you could soak them.
And another question that I saw. Oh, how many ramekins? I'm having trouble with that word. It is such a fancy word for me. Will this recipe make?
So for half the amount, and if you have like the 4-inch size, which is what I have, it's about 5 to 6. 5 to 6 ramekins. 4-inch ramekins.
Nice. And people are making this more and more decadent. Wendy is suggesting adding candied orange peel as a garnish. Peg is saying soak the raisins in rum. I mean, wow, very, very creative. And Wendy added the raisins in while cooking and it plumps them up. So very creative chefs, impressive. Does anyone want to show off their final product? I'm going to add a few of you back in. We've got Janet, you've got like 6 or 7. Can we all come over to your house looking beautiful in her Valentine's Day sweater? Let's see. Anyone else? Jennifer, bringing you back. Robin, also going to spotlight you. Let's see. And where is Wendy? I'm looking for Wendy. Oh, Marcy, looking great. Wendy, you are on the spotlight, but you're blurry, so we can't see you. But if you want to show us these amazing raisins, Pamela, oh my gosh, Pamela and your wood stove. I want to hear how that's going. Everyone needs to hear about it. Corinne, we have so many people baking along with us, cooking. This is amazing. I think this is great. Let's see, did I catch everyone who wanted to be up on the chat? Please let me know if not. Jennifer, wow, you've already bruleed. Look at that torch.
Yes,
Amazing.
look at it. Love it. Looks so good. Well, I'm gonna get torch in mine, unless anyone has any questions about that. Happy to answer that or any other questions. So I'm just sprinkling on the sugar here. I'll show you.
Gonna remove everyone else so that they can all focus on you. But it's been really fun to see everyone's progress. So looking incredible. All right, brulee away.
Okay, I'm just kind of tapping the ramekin just to get an even coating just around here. I'll show you. This is what mine looks like. Add a little bit to cover up the gaps. But that's what mine looks like. And I'm just gonna get my torch going.
I'm assuming you have to have some safety precautions in place when you do the torching.
Yeah, let's not have any like paper or anything very close by. So now it's bubbling. And you can also go back if it's not like a thick enough layer, you can go back and add some more sugar and brulee again. But yeah, is anyone doing the broiler method? I'm curious.
Yeah, mine is in the broiler right now.
Okay. And
I had to broil mine.
okay. And are you guys just keeping an eye on it until it gets to the crisp brown level that you like?
Yeah, I already got mine out.
Oh, cool.
Could you use, I know this may sound strange, but one of those long matches and just go across the top a little bit?
I don't know about that. I don't know if it would be powerful enough to do that. But then again, I've never tried it. So I'm not sure. But I'm going.
Yeah, it's not working in the broiler right now. Nothing's happening.
Are you on the highest? Do you have different levels on the broiler?
I have an old-fashioned oven and the broiler is separate on the bottom.
Okay.
So the highest, yeah.
Okay, when I tested that version out, it took about like 5-7 minutes, and you do want to make sure, I don't know if you heard before, but you want to make sure that your rack is set to I'll show you if
the highest up, highest to the, yeah,
right below the broiler,
right,
just so, yeah, it kind of the torch. But how long has it been in there for?
Maybe 3 minutes.
Okay, is it bubbling?
Yeah, it's bubbling.
Okay, and it'll take a little bit more time. I would just keep an eye on it until it gets to the brown color that mine looked like.
Right.
And
You could put ramekins in the broiler. It's okay.
Yes.
Okay. Let's hope for the best.
Okay.
This has been great. Thank you so much. It was lovely.
How's it going, everyone? Dave, how are you? Is it going well in your area?
Thanks for asking. I tried. It burned the rice before it would create the thing, and I used regular white sugar. But the taste is delicious, so I think I just have to figure out what I did wrong with the sugar and I do have a flame torch. I just took it apart, but I do have a brûlée thing that you do.
Can I
And
see
I have
it?
a really nice blue flame.
Oh.
It-
Did you how much sugar did you put on the top? Was it a generous?
I did it wasn't too generous. I mean, I just put like a thin layer. Should I put it pretty generous?
Yeah, I would put more, like about 2 to 3 teaspoons.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, I'll try that. Thank you.
Yeah. I think that should work for you.
All right, we've got some great comments. Peg said, thank you for a great class. You did a wonderful job. We appreciate folks staying on. I know we're a little over an hour, but anyone want to show off how it's going or ask a question? I think we will have about 5 more minutes to kind of wrap us up here. Any questions from the audience?
Oh, forgot. What about the cinnamon?
Let's see. I think, yeah, Julianne, when do you sprinkle cinnamon or you cook it in there? Do you put extra on top?
Yeah, you can sprinkle some cinnamon on top as a garnish. That was more so for if you aren't doing the brulee top. You can kind of sprinkle on top of the rice pudding as a little garnish.
Thank you.
Sure.
All right. Well, I think we are gonna wrap up the class with a couple of final announcements, but first, let's everyone please thank our amazing pastry chef and teacher, Julianne. So feel free to unmute and do some real applause
you.
or yes, or have some amazing emoji reactions, lots of appreciation and a love for you and the great work you do. So thank you. This was so cool. What a special way to celebrate Valentine's
Thank you.
Day.
Thank you. Delicious.
Thank you. It's great fun.
Yep. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Great.
Wow.
Happy
Amazing.
Valentine's.
Thank you. Stay in touch.
Thank you. You did a great job for your first time. It was very enjoyable.
Yeah, I would not know it was your first time.
No, you wouldn't. It was a great job.
Oh my
Thank
God,
you.
it tastes like heaven. Thank you so much.
Wow, this is like an audio dream right now for me. I'm loving it. And Julianne, I'm sure you're appreciating it as well based on your smile. So thank you, everyone. Anything you want to say to us before I give just a couple final announcements for attendees?
Yeah, just thank you so much, everyone. And thank you, Julia, again, for the opportunity. And this was a really great experience. I've done this now, so public practice, could always use more of that. And yeah, I hope you all enjoyed it. And yeah, thanks for being patient with any miscommunications or anything like that. And appreciate it.
Yes, of course. This was amazing. We can't wait to hopefully have you back if it's not too presumptuous of us to ask. But you are welcome anytime in our virtual kitchen to teach us your favorite pastries and amazing dishes. I just want to quickly give a couple of announcements as we wrap up. Please do tag Julianne and us in your final creations. I put our Instagrams in the chat. So Jade the Baker and Tradition Kitchens. We'd love to see how it turns out. And Marcy tagged us in her lentil soup, which was amazing, that we did last Wednesday with our friend Lily. So we really love seeing the dishes that you make and showcasing them. I want to invite everyone to our next class is Sunday. It's the one time that I actually teach a class a year. Usually I'm moderating and empowering other chefs and teachers, but I will be teaching muffins. So muffins are very meaningful to me. They're a symbol of kindness and caring for communities. 8 years ago, I started a philanthropic food holiday called National Muffin Day, and you've probably been getting a lot of announcements inviting you to attend. It's all about raising awareness for people who are experiencing homelessness and hunger in your communities. So the muffin is a symbol for caring. And this year, for every muffin tier, which I said Happy Muffintines Day, which is a volunteer baker who joins us, we'll be raising up to $80 per baker, and there's staggered amounts, but just really want to invite you all to join us for this special, meaningful event. I'll have a bake-off with my pal, the Muffin Man. It'll be a lot of fun. So that rounds out our February, and then we have not yet launched these classes. So I'm giving you a preview. Our friend Nat is going to be returning on March 2nd, and she will be teaching a very special class on banh mi, a Vietnamese dish live from Vietnam. Which is really cool. So we might go on a tour of her village like we did last time. If you didn't join us, it was a phenomenal experience for those who were there to have her take her cell phone and give us a tour of Vietnam. And then also Julianne's friend, Jamie, is going to be teaching a lemon tart class and more to come. So, thank you, Dave, for your kind words. We are really about empowering chefs from around the world, from around each other's kitchens, neighbors, teaching neighbors. So if you want to teach, if you have a dish like Elaine's key lime pie, we would love to feature you. So please be in touch, cookingwithtradition@gmail.com, or send us a message. We try to have 2 to 3 classes a month. and hope to see you again. So with that, wish you a great evening, day, afternoon, wherever you are. And this recording will be live on our cooking library. You can find all of our past classes. So I'm going to put that in the chat for you, and just give us like 24 to 48 hours to get that up there. And with that, I hope you all have a great rest of your days, evenings. Thanks again.
Thank you. Great.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.